Welcome along, folks. You're joining us at 5:30 p.m. local time here in Detroit, and it is finals day of the DR21 Motor City Open. Wow, what an event this has been. Bit of a roller coaster, plenty of drama, some huge matches along the way. But these are the two that have made it through to the final here. Leonel Cardenas, number 7 seed of Mexico, takes on number 2 seed Paul Cole. It's his third attempt at picking up the title here in Detroit. So just one match on the bill tonight. Could be a cracker. Joining me is Nicole Bunyan.
Good evening, Paul. Looking forward to this one here. As you said, we've had a couple of very good matches yesterday. It was a masterclass from Cardenas, wasn't it? Against Yao.
A masterclass is certainly not an understatement there, Nicole. It was a brilliant performance, but let's just reflect on what's been a fantastic event for the Mexican. The top half of the draw kind of opened up, really. Diego Elias pulled out at the very last minute, which meant that the top of the draw opened up. So, big opportunity. He came through. His toughest match of the tournament really was against Nathan Lake in round 1, where he came through in 5 games. But since then, he's been nothing short of clinical, playing with a real freedom out there. And last night against En Yao, I mean, how good was he there, Nicole?
Yeah, he was super sharp, wasn't he? He just completely outplayed and completely dominated the Malaysian. He was taking everything really early. You were noticing how early he was seeing the ball compared to his opponent. And the kills were just fantastic. He just played the 4 corners really well. Kept that error count pretty low, and mentally he was extremely strong. So he's going to have a lot of confidence from that match, Cardenas.
Yeah, 100%. I think the mental side of things is where he's in a real good place at the moment. He's got a free shot of these people, living the dream out there. And just to top it all off, as we've just found out, it's actually his birthday today. So that's something that'll make this occasion even more special against the world number 2, not the world number 2, the number 2 seed. Apologies for that. Has been world number 1, of course. Kiwi Paul Cole. He was businesslike yesterday against Eliainen. Came back from 1 game down. He would have been a bit irritated to have lost that opening game, but he settled the ship and got through it, just like he does in true Paul Cole style. He's had by far the tougher route through to the final. He's spent nearly 4 hours on court over the 3 matches, but he will be eager to get this title in the bank. As I mentioned, it's his 3rd attempt in the final here in Detroit, and it'd really be kind of just what the doctor ordered for Paul Cole. It's not really happened for him yet this season, but there's plenty of time to put that right. And if he can create a bit of momentum by picking up a title here, it would really sort of help him out, give him a bit of a spring in his step as he comes to his home country, New Zealand, in a few weeks' time, followed by the Australian Open, and plenty more to look forward to across the remainder of the season. Well, there's one head-to-head between the two, and it was back in May 2024, so less than a year ago, and it was pretty straightforward on that occasion. Cole taking it in 3 games, just 40 minutes the match lasts. I would be surprised, Nicole, if it's so straightforward today. What about yourself?
No, I think it's going to go past that previous match time, just judging by the way, first of all, we're on a back court here, and also judging by the way that Cardenas has been playing. He's been moving the ball around really well. He's been moving really well. So I think it really depends on the brand of squash that Paul Cole brings here. He's been more proactive so far, what we've seen from him this tournament. And I think that's one of the biggest improvements he's made over the past, well, I think just evolving over the past few years, really, isn't it? He's been trying to hit a lot with a lot more pace in particular, I think, in this game. We saw that backhand volley kill was working really well for Cole yesterday. So it's going to be about trying to get the Mexican on the move and not let him control the court the way that he was able to against Yao yesterday.
Absolutely. And I think Yao was a little bit passive at times, wasn't he, yesterday against Cardenas, but he's kind of only really played as well as he was allowed to, which was down to the performance of Cardenas. So let's see what he can do in this match then. So it's a Mexican gets us underway. Quite a nice colour that he's wearing, Nicole. What would you describe that as? Powder blue?
Yes, just slightly off of sky blue. I was just noticing it. I don't know how I feel about the monochromatic look, I have to say. I think with the lighter colors it can look a little pajama-esque, but I think that might just be because of this angle. I'm sure in person it looks very sharp.
Well, that's a first for me. I've never heard something described as pajama-esque.
Can coin that term.
Well, Cole is in the all black in true Kiwi style. Wow. Well, that is pretty aggressive from Cole. Absolutely carved that ball into the neck there. Looks like he means business.
Absolutely. We saw a lot of that yesterday, didn't we? Really teeing up on the forehand whenever we had an opportunity. But touche. Cardenas is equal to the task. One thing that's going to be tough for Cardenas to do today, Paul, is to be able to kind of out-hit Paul Cole. I think yesterday he was able to hit a much heavier ball and really get the ball past Yao, wasn't he? And he was kind of making Yao have to flick it up a little bit and have to hit up on the ball. But Cole's really strong with his movement, and he's going to be able to neutralize that, I think.
Completely agree. Yeah, I think that mid-court area where he was allowed to dominate yesterday, he's got a much tougher fight in his hands to take control of that short line and get across onto the volley, because that's where Cole likes to set his stall up. It's quite noticeable yesterday how Cardenas' tee position was significantly further forward than Yao.
A little bit of an appeal. Yeah, good follow-up from Cardenas.
It was just a little bit of hold there. Jumped on the ball early, just stopped Cole in his tracks before snapping it across the court. It's pretty clever. So you spoke yesterday, Nicole, about Cole trying to really take the wind out of the sails of Elina in that early phase of the match. And I think it's a similar situation today, really. He'll want to try to not allow Cardenas to settle in any way and get that sort of relaxed, smooth freedom that we saw yesterday against Yao. He got up to a flyer, didn't he? In all three games, actually, the Mexican. Cole's got to make sure he doesn't allow that to happen in this early part of the first game. Send a message out.
Yeah, agreed. Cardenas was brimming with confidence yesterday, wasn't he? You can see even here, Cardenas is not really allowed to have his way so far in the mid court, in the back of the court. He's being pushed to the back, side to side, not really being allowed to settle and tee off around the middle. It's actually Cole who's doing that to Cardenas, I think, more often right now in these early stages. But very similar, though, to kind of the rallies you saw yesterday with Cardenas and Yao. There was a lot of backcourt play, wasn't there, while the ball was still hot and bouncy. Both players just kind of sending jabs to their opponent.
That ball is taking a savage beating here, isn't it? This early phase of the match. Everything pretty much being hit with that little bit of extra pace.
Yeah, it is. You can hear the heaviness of the ball.
Can I ask you for a prediction, Nicole, if you don't mind?
I think it's going to be a Cole victory, and I think actually it's going to be a 3-love victory to Cole. I think there'll be some tight games in there. I can't tell you which one is going to be the tightest, but I do think that Cole's just going to have enough experience at the back end of the games to be able to close it out. I think he's going to just find a way through when it comes down to it. Obviously, Cole's been tested physically quite a bit in this tournament, but I think because of that time on court, I think it's going to have allowed his squash to grow throughout the tournament. And I think that now, hopefully for his cause, he'll be feeling the most comfortable that he has all tournament.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the way he's sort of moving, his alertness, and all right, it's 4-3 down in this opening game, but you wouldn't see, looking at the way that he's moving around the court and his sort of sharpness, you wouldn't think that he's spent over 4 hours on court over the last few days.
No, definitely not.
In matches.
Well, I thought that it might have caught up with him yesterday, actually, but we didn't notice any sort of drop off whatsoever at any stage throughout the match, and there were a lot of hard movements going in against Telainen.
Yeah, he stretched the court out, didn't he? The Egyptians touched into the front. I was really impressed. First time I'd seen him play, really. Oh, he's liking that area, isn't he? See how low he got into the ball there. That was technical perfection from Cardenas. Twice he's done that.
Yeah, lovely forehand stun. I'd say that's probably the shot that's been most effective on this court, Paul. We've seen a lot of the kills, not always hit with 100% power, but just taken in quickly. And that seems to be the most effective shot when the opportunity presents itself. Like the short ones, the ball's so bouncy, it's not really dying, but when they're able to create that space, these guys are so fast, they get so many balls back, they have to create that space, and then the kill is the shot that actually hits the second bounce quickest. So I feel like that's been a really good tactic from all of the players, but Cardenas in particular, we've seen that on the forehand side from him quite a bit. It is interesting to note, yesterday we were talking a little bit about the differences between the glass court and traditional courts. We were saying it's kind of unusual in some ways for Alainen and Cole to be matching up on a backcourt, isn't it? Right? You'd be used to seeing them play on on the glass in the perhaps the earlier stages, I guess, of the event.
It's complete opposite to a player who's further down the rankings. It's probably the opposite in terms of playing most of the matches on a plaster court and then having to make the adjustment for a glass.
What do you think for these top guys? What do you think are the biggest adjustments that they have to make tactically when moving back to the back courts?
Well, I think you've just got to be prepared for the rallies to be extended. The ball's into the front of the court. It's not quite as easy to send it in with such severity, and therefore a lot of stuff's going to come back. So you do tend to see the match durations are longer when they're on a plaster court, don't you?
Yeah, you certainly do. The first opening games as well, that first game in particular, we see 20, 30-minute games going on.
Yeah, that's right.
It's pretty outrageous.
Yeah, it's not really any surprise, is it, to see that sort of thing? But I mean, we had the complete opposite when just while they're having a break. I'm just going to refer back to the World Team Championships recently that you were at, of course, Nicole, on a glass court which was outdoors, and the semis and finals of that event were it was really quite cold, and we were seeing. There was one particular game, I can't remember exactly who it was. It could have been Ali Farag against somebody. It was 11-9. The score was 11-9, and the game was 6 minutes long. So you were looking at 2 or 3 shot rallies, really.
Yeah, that's
incredible.
That's quick. That's basically unheard of, isn't it, for someone of that caliber?
Yeah. And I've actually seen a rally on a traditional court. It was in Malaysia, between Martin Knight and Alan Klein, so I'm going back a few years.
Oh, wow.
And that rally lasted over 7 minutes.
No, oh my goodness.
It was the first rally of the match. It was unbelievable.
Jeez. You'd be questioning a lot of things after a 6 or 7 minute rally, I think.
You know, when I tell that story to people, the most common question that people come back with is, did it end in a let?
Yeah. That would be the most disappointing part.
Yeah. Oh, some big movements there for Cole. That's a nice lift though, got himself out of the trouble there.
Bit of a head fake from Cardenas.
He does like to use that shot occasionally, Cole. That real quick change of angle, especially on that forehand side. Sends it in with a real pace. He's got it slightly wrong a couple of times in this match where Cardenas has been able to go on and counter it, but not that time. It can be a real grinding movement. If your body weight's backwards and you think the ball's going deep, to all of a sudden react to that ball that's fading away across the angles, but that is not the best work we've seen from Cole. Well, it was around about this time in the opening game yesterday, Nicole, where you asked me who I thought it was most important to win the first game. Who was it most important to? What do you think here? Because this is obviously nip and tuck. Who's it most important to this first game?
I think it's pretty much always going to be most important to the lower ranked player. You know, I think that you need that advantage, you need that bit of confidence. If you ever give any sort of lead to the higher ranked player, they're gonna run with that confidence, aren't they? You really can't allow them to get away from you and have too much distance. So I think for Cardenas, it's really important for him to get this first game under his belt. Because but even if he does, there's going to be a big response from Cole. I think it's about this stage of the match, or of the first game rather, where we're going to see Cole start to raise his game now. I'll just try and make life a little bit tougher for the Mexican, lock the court down. That's a good finish.
That's a fantastic shot. Yeah, just had a slither of angle to work with there, Cole. You could hear the strings biting into the ball, really stopped it nice and short. I mean, that, just going back to the glass court versus plaster court, I mean, that shot there, if it was on a glass court, would have been even better, wouldn't it? With the way that the side walls really sort of almost have that magnetic effect onto the ball. But it was so good, it was irretrievable on this court as well. Oh, well, brilliant 1-2 there from Cardenas. The backhand drop was very nice to begin with. Cole couldn't get any sort of purchase on the lift, and then it was an absolute slam dunk from the Mexican. Takes one step closer in this opening game.
Question for you, Paul. Of course, Cole's come through in some pretty big battles, which we've spoken about briefly so far, and against some much lower ranked players than him. Do you think that, obviously he's going to have a bit of confidence, but probably more so relief, I would say, from coming through in those matches? Do you think that, do you think he'll have gained much confidence, or do you think that he'll still be a little worried about his game and just the tactics? Because sometimes you're just kind of getting through, you're not really dominating the way that you would like to or expect to. So do you think that's it's more of a confidence or more of a relief for him?
That's a really good question, Nicole, and I think that at the end of the day, winning becomes a bit of a habit, isn't it? You tend to get used to expecting yourself to win. He's had a couple of wobbly losses this year by his standards, and I think if you're not careful, you can step onto court against somebody like Elainen, for example, and think, having it fresh in your mind, losing to, I'm not suggesting these are absolutely horrendous results, but, losing to Joel Makin a couple of times, he's lost to Mazen Hesham, he lost to Marwan. These are the types of matches that you probably would never expect Paul to lose if we were going back to the previous season. So I think just getting those wins stacked up is going to do him the world of good for his confidence, and then it'll set him up nicely to get stuck into the the three players that are above him. You've got Farag, you've got Diego, and Mustafa Assal. Well, he's been 2-love up against both Mustafa and Diego this season rather, and not managed to close it out. So he's not far off, is he? But it's just getting that, I use the word momentum in the opener there. He needs that momentum, get a good run of wins under his belt. If he can pick up this title, it'll definitely do him the world of good. So, yeah, I guess there is an element of relief there, but also, that belief in yourself as well to get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's quite a long-winded answer, that, wasn't it? But hopefully it made sense.
All right, it's a long-winded rally. Typically, we've been seeing the longest rallies being played in the very early stages of the game, and then this business end here where both players really have to lock things down. They don't want to give anything cheap away. especially for Cardenas. He really needs to keep a lid on this. I think it's crucial that he keeps a 2-3 point lead against Cole if he wants to close out this first game.
That one did end in all that. Yeah, it's quite tense out there. Both players being a little bit cagey, keeping quite a reasonable margin for error on the stuff into the front of the court.
Big miss from Cardenas.
It was on, wasn't it? Yeah, the shot was on. He read the post. Got himself in a great position. Could be a big miss, that.
Just noticed there's a little bit of strapping on Cole's left adductor, so the inside of his thigh. It's nearly masked by his shorts, but you could just see when he's about to serve there, you could see just the tape kind of coming right underneath his shorts, so maybe just a little bit of you can see it when we've spoken about how long his matches have been, maybe just a little bit of fatigue there, hopefully nothing too serious for him. Maybe just something kind of preventative.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say there's anything apparent in his movement.
No warning signs. Let's say I'm a little skeptical of the... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just going to say this has been a bit of a monstrous first game between these two.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Two of them.
What a way
Brilliant
to earn
finish.
yourself a game ball.
Yeah, great opportunity now for Cardenas, especially after that unforced error in the previous rally. Puts it right with a clinical finish. But this is the one that he wants to get his hands on. 2 game balls for the Mexican.
Yeah, he's been playing with a lot of freedom, hasn't he? He's going to make a really big surge here. He's going to throw everything at this rally, Cardenas. And he needs to.
Really taking his time there before the serve, just to regroup, refresh.
Clever lift from Cardenas. going
there
for it
is,
again.
straight. He's done the hat trick on the cross-court volley nick from that forehand side. Again, it was not the greatest lift from Cole out of that front left corner. Cardenas did not need asking twice to have a crack at the nick, and he's absolutely nailed it once again. Impressive. Very impressive stuff from the Mexican. He's been very solid. Asking Cole a few questions there. 26 minutes of action. It is the Mexican Leonel Cardenas takes the opening game 11-8, leads by 1 game to love. The Mexican Cardenas gets this second game underway. Got the momentum, will be feeling on top of the world after not just winning that first game, but the way in which he did with that cross-court nick. And there you go. It's in there again. Slightly different shot.
Completely took Cole by surprise there. Paul, what sort of a response do you think we're going to see from Cole?
Well, I think that is, is probably not going to change too much, really. He'll probably, despite what's happened over the last few days, he'll still back himself to be able to maintain that intensity, to try to keep the big movements going on for Cardenas, try to get the pace high. I don't think we're going to see him try to reinvent the wheel, as it were. And yesterday, lost the opening game yesterday. He lost the opening game against Steinman as well, actually. Both of those games were close opening games, which he lost, and obviously managed to keep his composure, kept backing himself, trusted his tactics. I can't see him being particularly phased. Obviously, would have preferred to win the opening game, but I don't think it's going to really sort of dent his confidence in getting the job done here.
No, I think he'll be fully confident in his ability to lose a battle but win the war.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to think about the work that he's put into Cardenas there. Even though the Mexican won that opening game, he had to work hard for it. 26 minutes, and it was high tempo.
Cardenas has had a few marathon matches himself in the past few months, most notably against Jonah Bryant in Cleveland. I think he actually had match ball. That's a good redrop from Cole.
Brilliant.
And Cardenas lost in 5, and I think it was nearly 90 minutes. So he's no stranger to the long matches. He'll have these really long, grueling matches. He's a pretty physical player. But I think that it's just going to be the pace of play against someone who's Paul Cole's standard, right?
Yeah.
A 90-minute match against someone who's top 4 against a 90-minute match versus a 90-minute match against someone who's around Cardenas' level. It's a different intensity, isn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly. And just in these last 2 rallies, that previous one where there was that lovely backhand drop that you alluded to, that speed of Cole's movement into there, he's moving aggressively and then just takes it in short again. You could see Cardenas just on his back foot, didn't even move back into the front for it. And then that following rally, he's given away a stroke with what looked like a slightly laboured movement out of the front corner. So I do sense that opening game may start to take its toll as we go deep into this second game. Oh, that's not going to help Cole though. Obviously not very far off, right on the top of the tin.
Yeah, and I think also it's important to note how the ball is going to change. It doesn't drop off quite as much as the white ball does, but it is going to change a little bit. It's going to soften up as this match progresses. And by contrast to when you play on a glass court, you are allowed to change the ball, the white ball, after the third game, whereas here you can't. You're going to play with the same ball, unless it breaks, obviously, for the duration of the match. So I think that those short counter attacks from Cole are just going to keep getting better and better if he can continue to get on the ball early. He's going to expose Cardenas at the front potentially with that quick movement right there. That's a tough movement, isn't it, Paul? If those start to get rattled off by Cole, it's going to start to eat into the legs of Cardenas.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was sort of getting at earlier. I tell you one thing that Cardenas has done well though is used height. There's another one. Look, it's really got that ball right up out of the hitting zone of Cole. He's used it well, both straight and cross court actually. There, that's the one. And again, there, exactly. That's exactly what we're both talking about, Nicole. Really good from Cole, and especially in that front backhand corner. It's a real weapon of his.
Such a difficult shot to go in and cover, isn't it? You come out of the front left and just to go, well, either of the 2 front corners, just to go back in. It's so challenging. It's
the toughest movement in squash, in my opinion, to come out of the front corner and then back in again. And this is a masterclass into that front left from Cole.
Paul, do you think that the movement for a right-handed player is tougher into the front right or into the front left? Which one do you think is technically harder to do?
Definitely front left. Definitely front left, because in the front right of the court, you can throw that right leg out and that actually extends your reach into the front corner. Backhand side, if you go open stance into that backhand side, left leg forward, in other words, the right side of your body is the trailing side, so you, obviously with your racket being in your right arm, you don't quite get that same reach or balance. That's my personal opinion. I mean, you do see players go in left leg into that front corner, but it's a much more demanding movement.
Yeah, much tougher to do, isn't it, under pressure?
Yeah, body ends up being a little bit twisted in there.
See a little bit of a slip from Cardenas now a couple times when he's having to cover that boast at the front right.
Stay tight. Well, this is playing out exactly how Cole would have wanted. It's physical. And he's got that momentum on the scoreboard as well.
He does. He's making Cardenas do some pretty big movements as well. Particularly in that front left corner, he's seeing a lot of reward now. And you can see, I feel like the body language of Cardenas, he's starting to feel this now as well, isn't he? You know, that opening game, it would have taken something out of the legs, and now having to come in and actually have to move quicker is quite the challenge.
Defo. Yeah. He, I mean, it's often a telltale sign when a player goes to the towel box after a tough rally that they've lost.
Yeah, just take a look at the difference in the tee positions as well. Cole's nearly getting right up to the front of the short line, like right there. He's really hunting it, and Cardenas, he's just getting, you know, he's nearly at the back of the service box. So a very clear difference in the positions that these guys are getting themselves into, and that's going to really start to eat into the legs and the lungs even more of the Mexican.
Yeah, and of course it makes those front corners that bit of extra distance as well, if that's your starting position. I mean, Cole looks like it's his first match at the tournament, doesn't he, still?
Yeah, he's moving like a dream. Still got so much bite and so much power in his hitting as well. He's onto it with everything with interest.
Better lob that time. That's not going in the nick. Oh, it's good backwall boast. Managed to get the angle perfect there. Bit of a last resort, as we know, with the shot, but absorbed the pressure beautifully that time, Cardenas. Oh.
Wow.
Oh, what a beauty.
That was casual.
Really nicely played, wasn't it? Ball just kind of bounced right next to his feet and just deflected it into that front corner with lovely touch. So just like that, it's an error from Cole and a beauty from Cardenas. So all of a sudden back within 1 point here. Very important rallies for Cole now. Needs to try and open up that daylight again on the scoreboard.
Cardenas having to do some work here, moving around Cole, but that is an immaculate finish from Cardenas. Did so well to get a good length from that position.
Oh man, well, this is falling apart for Cole. There's been some great stuff from the Mexican, but that's another poor error. All of a sudden the lead's gone and Cardenas is 6-5 clear in this second game. What an opportunity for him to step on the gas.
Yeah, it really is. He got himself a couple of opportunities and he just went for them, didn't he? He almost relaxed a little bit. It looked like he was under quite a lot of physical duress, but just kind of relaxed and absorbed the pressure.
Yeah, that's right.
Cole.
Yeah, we were talking there when Cole went 5-2 up. Cardenas was in the towel box and it looked like it was starting to look pretty bleak for him, but he's put himself in a wonderful position. One love, 6-5 clear.
Well, he's got nothing to lose, does he, Cardenas, right? He's 1 love up right now. I mean, obviously, so yes, still obviously has the match to lose, but he really should just play with absolute freedom because, I mean, and he is. Look at these stats. This is just outrageous, but this is going to really, really hurt Cardenas' lungs.
Oh, it's fantastic. Fantastic rally.
Just what the doctor ordered for Cole. That was a big, big rally for his cause.
He was so clear in his thinking there under pressure. He got Cardenas stretched out into that front left corner, then sent the straight drive down the wall. Cardenas hanging on by a thread. The back wall post came up and he just held it. That was very tough for the Mexican. Very tough rally.
Cardenas really does need to hang tough here, though, because he'll know the massive importance of going 2 love up versus it being 1-all. 1-all is, you know, that's almost like he's going to have to make a comeback, I think, against Cole. Whereas if he goes 2 love up, then I think he really has a chance of winning. But he needs to really hang tough in these next couple of rallies. It's almost like the match potentially could even be won or lost in the next few rallies, Paul. It seems quite early to call it, but, you know, just by...
Well, it does, but to be absolutely honest with you, Nicole, it's exactly what I was going to say myself, that this next few rallies could have a huge impact on the rest of the match.
Again, the counter, that's outrageous movement from Cardenas. Starting to read that counter drop from Cole a little bit better now.
Lovely. As tight as you like on that. Oh, and he's made the error.
The shot was on, wasn't it?
Can you believe it? Previous drop shot was glued to the side wall.
It's his bread and butter, Paul. That was the one to go in.
Yeah, huge miss from Cole. You didn't see him miss many of those.
No, but you feel that Cardenas, he's perked up a little bit into that front left corner after he got beat in the first few rallies. He's really, really aware of covering that front left now. So that error might have just come from a slight bit of pressure and hesitation from Cole, who could be sensing that. Cardenas has switched on to that tactic now.
Good read from Cole.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, nice finish.
Cole's not happy about the movement.
The front corner, he was still trying to regain his balance as Cardenas just dispatched the ball very nicely into the front left. 2 points clear now. 3 points away from a 2-love lead, rather. Nice.
A very cool finish.
Was under the circumstances, it was very cool.
Cole really pressing along that short line, looking to hunt the volley. He's desperate to get into that mid backhand position. Hasn't had the same joy today on the backhand kill as he did yesterday, has he, Paul?
There's been a couple of errors mixed in. Maybe slightly snatched there from Cardenas. He saw the opportunity. Big point, that, wasn't it? To go 9-7.
Yeah, that was
He finds
massive.
himself locked in at 8-all. I believe it. Right on the very top of the tin again on that backhand drop shot.
That's a better line.
Tight. See there out. As Cardenas was trying to get that ball off the side wall, his racket just completely trapped the ball on the side wall. There was nothing there for him to hit.
Oh, that's a good attack. That was very, very quick and severe from Cardenas. Completely took Cole off guard.
We're seeing some wonderful straight shot making down that backhand wall. Both players. Just a couple of errors from Cole. We haven't seen the errors from Cardenas in these recent points down there, and that's what's made the difference on the scoreboard. As he's got an opportunity to go 2-love clear. Just one game ball for Cardenas. Oh, it's cheeky, nice little flick, and he's pulled it out of court on that backhand volley. The crowd can't either.
Oh, I had Cole on the run there. That was a big opportunity for Cardenas. Just flailing a little bit, couldn't quite control that backhand volley. And we are into a very, very tense tiebreak.
Well, to add to the tension, it's a no-let. And within the blink of an eye, it's now Cole who's serving for this second game. Desperately wants it, needs it. Oh, it's pretty risky from the Mexican. Went for the nick off the serve, looking for a cheap one. Tight again. And it's another no-let by the looks of things. Cole thought he'd won the point earlier on with that tight ball into the backhand side. Well, 3 unanswered points there from Cole. Kept his composure. He was staring down the barrel of a game ball to go 2-love down. And that is massive for the Kiwi. 23 minutes, that second game. 50 minutes in duration this match so far, and we're locked in at 1 game all as Cole takes the second game 12-10.
Well, that was a massive opportunity missed for Cardenas, having a game ball in the second game to go up with a massive 2-love lead in this final against Paul Cole, who he's never beaten. But very, very well managed from Cole just at the back end. Yeah, it's a good spot from Cole. Found that backhand volley kill quite a bit yesterday against Delainen. Hasn't had as much joy and success with it so far today.
As we're approaching the 60-minute mark here, Nicole, it's no real surprise that we've had a very attritional match on our hands, but I do feel like that second game, Cardenas really needed it.
Yeah, he did, and he just let it slip a little bit too quickly as well. Oh, that's just going to have to be a stroke. Yeah, I felt that as soon as Cardenas squandered his game ball, I felt that Cole was going to see that little crack in the door and he was going to run right through it, which he did.
It all happened pretty quickly, didn't it?
Well, he's been winded there, Cole, but unfortunately for him, Cardenas was set on the tee there, so I don't think Cardenas actually did anything wrong, but he also gave Cole a little taste of his own medicine there at the front left, getting that counter drop in. This time Cole have to go back into the same corner twice.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was good squash from Cardenas, but Cole had far less trouble executing that movement than we saw Cardenas early in the second game. Looked a little bit, a lot more physical stress making that movement than Cole.
You must have witnessed Cole doing some pretty brutal fitness sessions, I imagine. You've coached him in the Commonwealth Games, and I'm sure you've seen him do a lot of his training.
No, I certainly have over the years. Yeah, I worked with, well, when I first moved to New Zealand, Paul was just out of his junior career, actually. He was only 19. So embarking upon his early days on the PSA tour, and he's definitely got that mentality and that rare skill of being able to completely find the bottom of the barrel when he's performing a session that requires him to leave it all out there. Is an expert in doing so. In fact, he just loves he loves it. Loves that feeling of being completely spent by the end of the session. It's impressive to witness.
What do you think
just
is
imagine
the
physical and mental benefits of getting through sessions like that.
Oh, absolutely, and especially it just compounds, doesn't it? That's immaculate. Over the years, every month, every year that you do those sorts of sessions, it just builds that belief.
That's right, and I often talk to the players that I work with about that. Over the course of Paul's career, he'd probably do a session like that between 100 and 200 times over the course of his career, sending himself to that point of having absolutely nothing left to give. But how many times in his career will he need to go there in a match? Probably a handful.
Well, in this tournament alone, I'm sure that he's hit that point with these back-to-back matches. That's the reason that he'll be doing those sessions. Not necessarily for the days when you're playing your best and you need to get a big win, but for the days when you're not playing your best and you need to find a way to rely on something other than your shot making.
True, very true. Oh, it's there again. It's on a plate for him. That's 3 that he's missed from that position. Don't like to keep referring to unforced errors, but at some point he's got to be starting to get a little bit frustrated with himself for missing from such a great position and a shot that he has so much success with.
Yeah, it's incredibly annoying when you work so hard to get that position and then hit it into the tin. Do you think Paul is just more so about giving himself more margin for error and sticking with that shot and trying to regain the confidence, or does he try and show something else now? Does he go away from that option?
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna shy away from the shot. He's just got to pay a little bit more attention to that execution. I mean, it's not like he's playing it technically badly, is it? It's not like he's off balance or is losing control of the racket head. It's just that target is too close to the top of the tin and risking. Oh, that's very nicely finished by Cardenas. Same shot we're talking about. Yeah, Cole's got to keep going for it because he does cause a lot of damage from that.
That was very slick from Cardenas. Plays that shot a little bit differently than Cole, doesn't he? He kind of waited for it to drop a little bit, which actually made it a little tougher. Cole likes to take it on the rise whenever possible. That is a good squeeze from Cole. Just opting to hit that drop a little bit heavier, but going in towards the sidewall, and that made it really difficult for Cardenas to control.
Yeah, and I think based on what you were just saying there about whether he's going to shy away from the shot, I think what we saw there is he just played it with that little bit of extra acceleration through the racket, just made sure with that one it was a lot more positive. I know it was off the volley, but same sort of technique required, getting the edge of that racket through. Less about touch, more about speed of the racket, get the ball in there quickly. Oh, that's a miss. That's a big miss, because the volley drop that time from Cole was not the best. There was plenty for Cardenas to run onto there, but just lost control of the racket head, pulled it down into the top of the tin. So Cole's back in this, just 1 point behind now.
Oh, wow.
Wow, incredible.
Not many players would have got those shots back from Cardenas. Trouble.
This stroke. Yeah, pretty cool under pressure there, Cole.
Well, again, similar to the previous games, Paul, at this stage of the match or this stage of the game, this one when we're starting to see those long attritional testing rallies. Both players closing the court down, not going for anything too risky. They know how important this part of the match is.
Well, that is a stroke to Cole. He'll take that with both hands. The attack from Cardenas, it was low and it was nice and aggressive, but too far from the side wall. That's 3 points on the bounce for the Kiwi. Speaking of bouncing, takes a couple of extra bounces before serving there. He's fully aware that these next few points are worth the weight in gold, and that's careless from Cardenas.
Yeah, just too rushed. Say though, it's been a good performance from Cardenas on the whole, hasn't it? He hasn't really done too much wrong. Obviously a couple errors here and there, and unfortunately for him a couple of strokes, but it's been just a couple of 5%ers here and there, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, let's not write him off just yet because he's still right in this, but one thing I would say is in the early stages of that second game I felt he was starting to just feel it and look a little bit rough around the edges, but he stayed with Cole. He was 7-5 up in this third game, but since then it's been all Paul Cole as he served the 3 game balls to take that 2-1 lead.
Yeah, you get the sense that Cole had a little word with himself after those 2 errors. Just got his head back in order. Oh dear. Well, he couldn't get out of the way fast enough, could he?
This is probably just what Cardenas would want, really. He's got a point on the board. Little break in play. chance to really focus on digging deep. Win this next rally. That's going to cause some serious tension.
Yeah, these
Cole.
are precious seconds of recovery for Cardenas to regain his composure. It's amazing what a 20-30 second break can do for the recovery, hey? See that heart
Well,
rate
there's
start
that,
to
and
drop.
also the momentum for Cole. He would have wanted to have got the final nail in the coffin in this third game. But he's still out there. Big point.
Oh, he's gone for it. That's very...
He's called it down.
Yeah, that's honest.
A flurry of attacks from the Mexican.
Certainly not shying away from it. Playing to win, as he should.
All of a sudden, this third game takes a whole different look. It was 3 game balls for the Kiwi. Now only 1 remaining. Cardenas got that spring in his step after a little break in play. Oh, that's a nice touch. He's found the tin. Just tried to roll it across the front wall there, Cardenas, and the yell from Cole tells you how much that means to him, and I think there was a lot of relief in that yell. This has been nothing short of brutal from start to this point in time. 69 minutes on the board, and it's still only 3 games in the bank. Look at that duration, folks. 18 minutes for the third game. Cole stays strong at the end to take it, and now leads by 2 games to 1. On Nicole, it's a solid regular feature on the PSA World Tour, this Motor City Open. I'm sure the members of the club really look forward to this as a highlight of the year, and they've got to be pretty delighted with what they've been treated to in terms of the quality of squash throughout the week. This final match is certainly not disappointed.
No, it's been terrific quality, hasn't it? It's been very free-flowing as well, which is something we haven't spoken about yet. But obviously just perhaps a couple of, not even traffic issues, just a couple of decisions just because of, outright strokes. But otherwise, it's been really clean. Both players moving around each other nicely. Just kind of getting on with it, looking to play the ball as much as possible.
completely. Nobody wants to see a match that's littered with refereeing decisions. This has been pure squash, really.
That's clever. That is very clever. Hasn't played that shot really all match. Been opting for the straight option. And that is the exact right time to play that clever angle.
That is stunned, very short, very low. Still a couple of more points on the board. Cole could really hurt the Mexican. Not sure how much left he's got here.
Yeah, he's really controlling that mid area of the court, isn't he now, Cole? He's having a kind of having his way with the T position.
Yeah, it had to be. Ball clipped the sidewall very early and quite high, which meant that it popped right out into the middle of the court. Cadena strapped inside Cole's swing. Like that. That's a lovely shot. Long trickle boast.
Oh, and again,
It's come from the
side.
backhand. I've really seen him use those shots, have we, throughout the match so far? So you just wonder if he's looking for ways to try to shorten these rallies, take a few extra chances, extra risks. He's hanging on by a thread in this rally.
Yeah, I just get the sense that Cardenas, he's just going to keep playing to win. I think he's just going to keep looking for answers. Him going defensive isn't going to bring him any joy, is it? Not against Cole, right, who's just going to be like a ball machine. He's going to keep getting everything back, and he's going to then look to be more proactive. So Cardenas, he's going to keep looking to find ways to put pressure on the Kiwi. It's just going to be about striking that balance, though, not being too risky with the attacks.
Oh, nowhere near enough height in the lob there from Cole. It's ran away from him after that point. You see what he was trying to do, but barely got the ball above head height. It's a long rally. Again, Cardenas firing in when he's got the chance. He's got the point, but he's had to work very hard for it.
What are your thoughts on this one, Paul? Cole is not happy that that's going to be replayed. But do you think there's a bit of life in that ball?
Yeah, he probably felt it was nice and tight to the side wall. It's difficult without seeing it for a second time, but I mean the ball looked as if it was tight. Maybe just set up enough for Cardenas to have an argument there. That's a long trickle again. And again. Oh, nice. Did that hit the tin? He's made an error again on that backhand drop. I thought it was a winner from Cole. Well, Cardenas will not go away, will he?
No, he keeps coming up with some answers against Cole. This is work, though. This is hard work for Cardenas.
Oh, tough movement.
Yeah, he's doing court sprints.
That's tight. No, he's not going to have any joy there. Really good control from the racket of Cole. He's at full stretch, just nudged it back onto the front wall.
It was perfectly executed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That backhand flick needed a little bit more bite to it, I think, from Cardenas. It was played softly. I think he needed just to have a little bit more head speed on it to disrupt the movement of Cole. Everything looks so clear in hindsight, doesn't it, Paul? When you're out there, yeah. It's like just the finest of little margins.
That's right. Yeah.
All happening at warp speed.
Well, the Mexican just showing a little bit of frustration there, letting out a roar of disappointment as the ball sailed into the netting on the side wall. The body language of Cardenas, not surprisingly, looking a little bit what's the word I'm looking for, Nicole? Help me out here.
Yeah, a little dejected, a little weary, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe just running out of belief that he can find a way back into the match. thrown everything at it.
Yeah, he really has.
Certainly, if he doesn't manage to turn this match around, I'm sure initially he'll be disappointed, but he's got to reflect on this tournament and take masses of confidence from it. Certainly a player I'm looking forward to watching over the next few years, see how far he can get up the rankings. A massive amount of talent. Lovely player to watch.
Yeah, a lot of depth and maturity to his game. Well, this is exactly what the doctor ordered for Cole. A couple of winners at the back of the court, and then a rally like this where he's really making Cardenas do a serious amount of work. But now the tables have turned a little bit. I mean, this is tough stuff, Paul. We've played well over or they've played rather. I'm just chilling right now, but they've played well over an hour of squash, and it's been brutal attacking stuff as well. Those legs are surely feeling a little punch drunk at this stage in the final.
Stayed in that time on the lift. Always missed the nick. Ah, it's nicely done.
That is lovely.
Nicely done.
Nicely appreciated by the crowd
loving
too. Yeah. They just want to see this go 12-10 in the fifth, don't they?
Yeah,
They're here
exactly.
for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was casual, wasn't it?
It's casual, but it's quite clever what he did with his racket there. Managed to get a bit of side spin on the ball. Drew it away from Colin again. Similar. Yeah. Delicate into that front backhand corner. We've seen a lot of action in that part of the court from both players.
Will it be a very quick and welcomed point by Cardenas?
Oh, wow.
He's right at that time, Cole. Yeah, that's a long way around for Cardenas. He's having a little look back at the ref, but he had to move forward. He had to cover the drop and the short kill, and that was a very, very wise shot from Cole. Just playing that kill a little bit deeper, making Cardenas do the hard yards and go around him.
Yeah, quick thinking. Often when that fatigue sets in at this, not just this stage of a match, but this stage of a tournament, after you've come through some real battles. Let's not forget that he saved 3 match balls in the quarterfinals against Steinman. So for Cole to still be seeing things very clearly at this stage, as the finishing line is starting to come into sight for him, shows a sign of belief.
Yeah, if he does come through and win the title, it's going to mean that much more to him, isn't it? 'Cause he's going to be aware of all the work and those pretty dark places that I'm sure he had to go to dig himself out of those holes and come through those marathons.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's just landed on the very top of the back wall there. You could see how the ball shot straight back into the court. So just crept out.
Oh dear. Paul, there was a bit of a movement there from Cardenas, wasn't there?
Yeah, but the referee saying the ball was too good. I think I'd agree with that. It was lovely little counter drop from Cardenas. He managed to keep it very short in the court. Cole can't allow that to distract him from the job at hand here. And I'm sure it won't.
No, he just needs to get on with it. But yeah, a bit of something to watch for, perhaps. Just something to be aware of. Cardenas showing that he's just trying to gain every advantage that he can. And he does need to at this stage of the match. That's terrific athleticism. Oh my goodness. He's almost got underneath that one. Probably wasn't obviously going to get the follow-up, but absolutely willing to chuck his body on the line.
A chance for both players to refocus ahead of this big point. Just 2 points away from the title now, Paul Cole, but Cardenas is still breathing down his neck on the scoreboard. Oh, he's not seen that at all.
It's absolutely imperative that Cole doesn't look at that finish line yet.
No.
Even though he's only 2 points away, as you mentioned, needs to just keep his eye on the ball. Very literally. Stick to the game plan.
Oh, it's a big miss. You can see and hear the frustration there from Cardenas. I felt Cole had read it as well. He was on his way up there. Was it the right shot? So just a single championship ball now for Paul Cole. I can tell you now, Nicole, if he does win this, we're going to see an outlet of emotion from Cole.
Yeah, and rightly so.
It would mean the world to him. He's done it. There it is. Oh, what a match. What a match. Both players showing mutual respect there. Cole's enjoying this moment, as he should do. It's his first title in a long time. Came in as number 2 seed. Managed to get the job done, and it's yet another absolute marathon there that the Kiwi comes through in classic Paul Cole style. 92 minutes in the final there. He takes it 8-11, 12-10, 11-9, 11-9. But Nicole, you've got to take your hat off to Cardenas for his efforts in this tournament. I think he's arrived on the scene in a big way.
Yeah, it was a fantastic tournament for the Mexican. He did not shy away at any moment. A couple lapses here and there, but honestly, just for 1 point or two, and then he was coming back with a vengeance at Paul Cole, and Paul Cole really had to respond every single time Cardenas made an attack. So a terrific tournament for the number 7 seed, Leonel Cardenas, and of course Paul Cole. He's going to be very, very relieved, and I'm sure very proud of himself to have come through so many difficult matches, mentally and physically. And a 92-minute match for a 3-1. That's, that's something that's pretty much unheard of for most people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're quite right. Cole will be feeling a mixture of very positive emotions there. Relief, proud of himself in the way he's gone through this tournament. And as you've mentioned there, Nicole, exactly what he needed to really kickstart this remainder of the season. So he will be very pleased with himself. DR21 Motor City Open 2012 belongs to Paul Cole. Well, we are going to sign off. We'll leave you with the trophy presentation, but you must join the SquashTV TV team tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, for the final of the Cincinnati Cup. So it's good night from us here in Detroit. We hope you've enjoyed this as much as we have. It's been an absolute belter. So we'll be back soon on Squash TV. Good night.